Hello everyone from Ask the Car Experts YouTube channel. I'm going to show you how to remove and replace the grommets on the secondary air pump on an E46. The grommets are right here. They're just rubber grommets and they often separate and the secondary air pump is flopping around when they break off. Now a lot of times they break off and the bottom end falls out. So you do need to make sure that when you get these you need some new nuts at the same time. This is a real easy install. You need a 17mm wrench that fits the grommets. You need a 10mm ratchet, and I believe this is a 6mm, or you can just use a screwdriver to remove the clamp. Now normally this is attached to this bracket by I believe it's three 10mm screws right here along the perimeter. So this would normally be attached, so if you had to remove and replace your secondary air pump, you would take this off here and those. But mine's already loose, so I'm going to take it off here, move it out of the way, and we can take a look at the bracket. So you just need your 6mm or regular flathead screwdriver to loosen the clamp up and take this hose off right here, which a lot of times it's going to be bonded. So let me show you a trick to get that off. I have a cotter pin tool, or you could use a pick and just some white lithium grease. You just stuff it in there so that your pick end is covered in grease, and then you just go around the perimeter with your cotter pin removal tool, which I like to use for hoses, and it comes right off just like that, nice and easy. And it makes installation just as easy. Alright, so in this case, since everything's broken, normally again you'd have to take the 10s around the perimeter, but this is loose and broken. So if yours is not completely broken, take the three 10mm off. This one I can lift up, lay it at the side, and here's our power and ground. This would also be how you'd activate this. If you just put power and ground to this, this pump should run, and that's how you'd test your secondary air pump if you're getting faults relating to that. So as you can see, this is where they separate, and a lot of times they're actually pretty loose. So we can just spin these off. This one's stuck, and that's why we need the 17mm, if I remember correctly. That should free that up. So we can take these off. This one looks like it's intact. I'm going to replace it anyways because it's old, it's been on here for quite some time. So just loosen those up for now. We're going to take the bracket off. So if your pump is still attached but you need to remove it, say your pump is bad, you would take the three 10mm screws around the perimeter out and just put them aside. That would give you access to this bracket right here. You could also take off, there's a little screw right here, Phillips, and that removes this front plate right here. Let me back out so you can see that better. Right, you have the Phillips right here, that's this cover right there. So this actually will come out to the side. Now let's install these rubber grommets here onto our secondary air pump. These are just studs that screw into the housing of the secondary air pump itself. So you're just going to zip these on and give them a gentle snug with a 17mm. Don't have to go anything crazy, just snug them down a bit. $17. So you just need 3. Now if yours are broken off, you might have the nuts on this end that you can reuse, which would be great. You won't have to get them separate. This one's blocked by the bracket, so go ahead and take that screw off on the side. And then this just comes out this way, and it has a little hook. So when you go back in, you can just lock it into place. Just put that aside. That gives you access to, I believe that is a 10 also. And these don't have to be very tight. So that takes off that bottom piece that's broken. Alright, the next step is to actually mount the secondary air pump onto the bracket. So you just have to figure out your orientation so you don't install it the wrong direction, which I think you can. You have this round part right here, and you believe the location is, and you can see it just falls into place on the bracket, is that the outlet is right near this rounded area right there. So we'll just flip it over and install the nuts on this end. And I have two, and then this is the one that was still on it. The other two are lost because it broke and they fell apart. So just zip these on. Alright, so bracket's ready to be put on. Now we can go ahead and put this protection cover on. Goes into the groove and around to the side. And I'm going to put the screw in. Alright, so bracket in place, tighten down the Phillips head. Alright, important step. Remember to plug it in. If you forget to plug it in, then you'll have to, maybe you can fish underneath, but that shielding covers you. So lock that in place, put your bracket in, check your orientation for your hose. You can put your hose on, that might help keep it in place. And then we have the three 10 millimeters to put in. Alright, as usual I like to do tips that I use when I'm working, and one of them is so that you don't drop the screw that you're putting in. If you take a piece of paper, this is just paper towel, take a small piece, put it around the head, put your socket on. It's not going to fall off, and it usually comes out easy when you're putting it in. So there's two on the side that are somewhat inaccessible. You can use that trick, get it started, give it a bit of a wiggle, and it stays in place just like I want it to, and I don't have to worry about dropping it. So again, just a little piece of paper, make sure it's sturdy. Yep, it's good. Paper towel, that's all you need. Yep, and that stayed in place, and my paper towel actually came off. Perfect. And last one. This way you're not dealing with, I know I've used butyl also in the past, which is sticky, but this is nice and clean and nice and solid. The last one on in the back. And then just snug these three down. Okay, and the final step, make sure you put your clamp back in place, or else when your secondary air pump turns on, it will, or can, blow this hose right off. And that's it. That's how you replace the secondary air pump, or replace the grommets because they've aged and cracked. I hope this is helpful. Thanks for watching. Likes are appreciated.